condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
All right. Hello, Grand Rising, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, Carol is in the house. Vince, I am from the UK. Lillian X is here. G from the land. All right, Flawless Honey is in the house. Let's get into it. Claudette, Dark Tube is here. Desmond. All right. Mel is here. Vince from the UK said, hashtag buy all wigs and wiggetry nonsense. All right, Hot Cocoa is in the house. Retired Federal Police Banks. Okay, let's get into it. Nessie X, Jeff ATL. Okay, so shout out to everyone in the chat and everyone tuned into the Queen. Let's get this party started. Now, before we do, let's have a brief word from our sponsor at 12 Tribes. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Kratz. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. First of all, hey, Andrew. All right, Hadassah is in the house. Nicole is here. All right, we the people. Okay, so let's talk about it because Tom Brady. Now, I told you all, you heard it here first, I'm sure. I told you all that Tom Brady was full of crap. I told you that Tom Brady was a whole hater. He really didn't like Shedeur or Dion. He was faking the whole time. And you know, this is nothing new because I told y'all it's a whole lot of people who act just like Miss Ann on Roots, the way she did Kizzy. How many times have I told you all that? All right, how many times? Now, Tom Brady had a whole lot to say about Shedeur. Okay, and we're going to get into it because I find it all interesting. I find it all interesting that he had so much to say. Now, mind you, when it took so long for Shedeur to get drafted, when we all know that he should have been at least in the top 10, that's just a fact. Some of the biggest sports analysts, some of the most respected sports commentators, all had him pegged to be at least in the top 10 and not to go after that. Then all of a sudden for him to fall down to fifth, and Tom Brady says he didn't have anything to do with the decision. Well, that's all cap. Okay, I don't care if he's just 5% owner or whatever. That's all cap. Did Raiders owner Tom Brady just reveal why Las Vegas didn't draft Shedeur Sanders? Yeah, that is what he just revealed. Okay, he just revealed that he's a whole hater. Now, with that all being said, let me just pull this up. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. Let me make sure this is the one I want to show. Hold on, beloveds. All right, here we go. Okay, now I want y'all to listen to this, and some of you may have already heard it, but this is absolutely no surprise to me.
Because football is the ultimate team sport. And even in this broadcasting role, Chris, that's what I look for all the time. When a quarterback throws a touchdown pass, I actually watch to see who he goes and celebrates with. Because what did I do? I looked for my offensive lineman every time. I went down and celebrated in the end zone with my teammates every time. I wanted everyone to feel like they were part of the success. I told the linemen, we're all running to the end zone and we're celebrating as a team. Because I think that's way more intimidating than a quarterback doing his 6-shooter guns and pointing up in the crowd and doing all that other bullshit that's very self-promotional, but it's not about winning. And I think winning in football is about a team, always a team attitude first.
Did you all hear that? You know darn well he was talking about none other than Shedeur Sanders. Okay, he talking about with the 6-gun shooter waving up at the crowd and all that. No, he's talking about Shedeur. Okay, and if that's what he has to say now, that's how he's always felt. Okay, that's how he's always felt. At the end of the day, this man is a hater. He's just like the rest. Okay, y'all don't see that? He is just like the rest of them who are hating on Shedeur. Of course, he could have gotten Shedeur on the team. People want to make excuses for Tom Brady. That's what some of them are doing. Oh, he doesn't get to make the decision. You mean to tell me this man doesn't have any pull? He doesn't have any power? He doesn't have any say? Respected as he is, they call him the GOAT, the best quarterback of all time. Yeah, of course he had something to say. And the answer was no. He is a damn hater. Because here's the thing. If a player goes out there on the field and they do what they're supposed to do and their team wins, why do you give a darn what they do to celebrate the victory? Why do you care what they do to celebrate the victory? And he's lying because here's the thing. Yes, Shedeur does hold up his watch or his wrist for perfect timing. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody should know by now that Black people are extra. Black people always are doing the most. We don't just do the regular. We're not just the norm. We go above board and above average. That's just what we do. Maybe it's the melanin. Okay, the darker the melanin, the more outlandish you may act. I don't know, but the bottom line is everybody knows that Black folk just have swag. Everybody knows that we just do things different. We celebrate differently and all of that. So why is Tom Brady talking crap? Because he's a hater. And then he said that he goes straight to his offensive lineman. That's, doing all that celebrating stuff is self-promotional, but it's not what winning's about. You're right. It isn't what winning's about. Okay? Winning is about going out there on the field and putting your all in and giving it 100%, doing the best you can do, and doing so knowing that it's a concerted effort by a group of people, not just one. Because there's no I in team. We know the spill, Tom Brady. We don't need you to give it to us. Y'all hear that? Even him going over to his offensive line after a win doesn't mean That's not the definition of winning. And here's the thing: Tom Brady's a liar. Y'all know how I know? I'm so glad you asked because I watch football. Okay, and I've been watching Tom Brady for years, even though I never could stand him. And he's a cheater who cheats and a liar who lies. Let's not forget about the deflated footballs, Tom Brady. But here's the thing: Tom Brady's a liar because I myself have seen Tom Brady walk off the field ticked off, didn't dap up his teammates or anything, mad because he lost. Of course, anybody would be mad because they lost, but I'm just saying, since he wants to talk about how much teammanship he has and sportsmanship and all of that, what about then? So this is what you do when you win because you're happy and you're excited. But when you're in a bad and sad mood and you're angry because you were defeated, now you just want to waltz off the team. Okay, if the team celebrates the victory together, then they should also be there to lean on one another for the losses. Don't you think, Tom Brady? I have several questions. Okay, but anyway, let's continue because he said what he said. Now, here's the thing. In this article, they say Las Vegas Raiders minority owner Tom Brady recently revealed that he believes to be one of the most important aspects, or what he believes to be one of the most important aspects of a quarterback's approach to football. An approach that many people believe Shedeur Sanders does not follow. Talking about when a quarterback throws a touchdown pass, I actually watch to see who he goes and celebrates with. Here's the thing. You know how you know he's full of crap? Now, he was supposed to be mentoring Shedeur, right? He was supposed to be helping Shedeur at some point. So if he was helping Shedeur and mentoring him, if that's how he felt, why didn't he have that conversation with Shedeur? He's supposed to be such good friends with Dion all these years and looking out for Dion's son. Why wouldn't he have told Shedeur that? Why wouldn't he have told him that? Because he's a hater. You see, it is not. Here's the thing. It's not so much so that he has an issue with Shedeur celebrating the win. It's just that he's a hater. And he has to have an excuse for why he's a hater. The real reason Tom Brady is a hater of Shedeur Sanders, in my opinion, is because he fears that one day that Shedeur is going to be better than him and take his title, and they're going to call Shedeur the GOAT and say he's the greatest quarterback to ever do it. You know why I know that's what he's worried about? Because what else is there for him to worry about? Hasn't he won like 10 Super Bowls, even though he's cheated? And another thing is, we know that that's a fear that he has because he can look at Shedeur and see that Shedeur has Dion's exact genes. And Dion is the greatest to do it. Okay, the best cornerback of all times, only one to win a World Series and a Super Bowl. So he knows that Dion's already in a category by himself, a whole Hall of Famer, and the best to ever do it himself. Now, if Shedeur comes along and he becomes the best to ever do it, that means that Tom Brady gets knocked down a notch. And he can't have that. If anybody's going to knock him down a notch, he'd rather for it to be Arch Manning, because that's somebody who looks like him. This is all so sad, honey, but this is how they do, honey. It does not surprise me because I told y'all this. Some of y'all didn't want to believe it. No, but I told y'all. Some people made excuses, but I knew exactly what I was talking about because I know racist devils when I see them, and I know low down, dirty people who stab you in the back out of hate and envy when I see them too. All right, so anyway, goes on to say, he then explained the kinds of celebrations that he does not like to see from QBs, quarterbacks. Fans were quick to point out that the rookie Cleveland Brown quarterback Sanders often celebrates in the way Brady clearly dislikes. He was definitely talking about Shedeur. Some idiot said no, he wasn't, but yeah, he was. He says, I told the lineman, we're all going to go run into the end zone and we're celebrating as a team because I think that's way more intimidating than a quarterback doing his 6-shooter guns and pointing up in the crowd and doing all the other BS. First of all, what does any of that have to do with intimidating? He said that's way more intimidating if you and the linemen all get together, the offensive linemen all get together. How is that intimidating? And why do you need to feel the need to intimidate after you already won the game? And you're celebrating. See that now that makes no sense. When people are haters, they have to try to justify the reason for their nastiness towards a specific person or their lack of trying to help this particular person. They can't just come out and say, well, I didn't pick him because I'm a hater, because I don't want him on the team, because I really don't like him. He's too black. He's too ghetto. He's too arrogant. He does too much. He couldn't say all of that. And notice that when he made the statement he never said Shedeur's name. Well, we already knew who he was talking about. Okay. He said it in a nasty way. Okay. When you're nice and nasty. That's what he did. I hate Tom Brady. Lord knows I do. I have always hated Tom Brady. I swear it's something about his spirit I have never liked. If any of y'all followed me when I used to be going live on Facebook before I came to YouTube, I always talked about how I couldn't stand Tom Brady. And anybody who ever said he was the best athlete ever, I gave them hell. Because he's not. The best athletes ever don't cheat. And he clearly did. He knew all about the deflated footballs. In fact, I believe that he's the main one who deflated them. Okay, they tried to brush it off and say, well, he probably knew about it. Yeah, he did know about it. He's likely the one that told them to do it. Okay, they set him out for 4 games, and then he wanted to even appeal that. He didn't think that he deserved any consequences. Let me continue. I don't want to get into a whole rant on this fool. So anyway, Sanders, of course, has a signature personal celebration that's part of his brand. He holds up his wrist as if to display a watch after every touchdown. Brady's comments were also related to what he looks for when commenting on quarterbacks during a broadcast. But nonetheless, he clearly thinks attitude and celebrating directly affects winning. That's so ignorant. How does that affect winning? If you win, you win. It doesn't matter how you celebrate when you do it. What about the people who dance in the end zone? Does he hate them too? Let me continue. Okay, which would affect the quarterbacks he recommends or doesn't recommend to the Raiders. So he just told us why he didn't choose Shedeur. He lied at first. So he just told us why. Because the way they celebrate and the way they act directly after winning, that determines who he recommends or doesn't recommend to the Raiders. Y'all heard it. All right, y'all heard it. So while Tom certainly has a voice in the Raiders organization, he owns only a 5% stake in the franchise. If general manager John Spytek and coach Pete Carroll were high on Sanders, would Brady's voice have mattered? Raiders fans will likely never know for sure. It's worth noting, however, that Brady reportedly voiced a lot of support for quarterback Cam Miller, okay, a 6th-round draft choice by the Raiders, despite staying hands off for most of the Las Vegas draft process. See, they were talking about, said he didn't have anything to do with it, but he had so much to say for Cam Miller. Okay. Miller was drafted after Sanders had already been selected by the Browns. The former North Dakota State QB failed to make Las Vegas's 53-man roster and is now on the practice squad. Miller is far from the only quarterback the Raiders added to their QB room this offseason. In fact, Aiden O'Connell is the only quarterback on the Raiders roster that was there last season. Now, the Raiders' new starter is Geno Smith, who they acquired in a trade with the Seattle Seahawks. Interestingly enough, Smith is somewhat known for trash talk and celebrating. Y'all hear that? He's known for trash talk and celebrating. Now, his self-promoting post-game quotes are the stuff of legends, and he'll do celebrations from time to time, such as hitting Golden State Warriors guard Stephen Curry's iconic night-night celebration. But in one of Smith's first moments on the field in a Raiders uniform, he celebrated Ashton Genty's first preseason touchdown with a rookie. Okay, that was a clear sign that he cares greatly about the team. The Raiders also traded for QB Kenny Pickett, who ironically was competing with Sanders for a spot on the Browns' depth chart. Pickett's move to Las Vegas not only helped the Raiders navigate O'Connell's injury, but opened up a spot for the Browns to keep Shedeur Sanders as their third-string quarterback. What do you think of Brady's comments, Raiders fans? Will Las Vegas be glad they didn't select Shedeur Sanders? Honey, they're not going to be glad. I promise you that. And like I said, I'm not surprised. This man is clearly a hater. Okay, now let's go to a few videos of what people had to say about it all. And here's the thing. I'm going to play this video. I'm going to mute it because there's music in the background. But I want you all to see this guy in the video. I'm not even going to play what he's saying because he's talking crazy. He's saying that Tom Brady was not talking about Shedeur. Now, the reason he says Tom Brady wasn't talking about Shedeur is because he proceeds to show a clip of Shedeur going to celebrate with the offensive lineman. That doesn't mean that Tom Brady wasn't talking about Shedeur, because he was. That just means that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Tom Brady, that is, because Shedeur celebrated with the offensive lineman first and then hit his stance. Even though that shouldn't even make a difference, right? It shouldn't even matter. Now, here comes the clip. Here comes the clip. So watch because it's really quick. But you'll see Shedeur, there's an arrow pointing to him. Okay, now you all saw that. I hope you all could see that. He went straight over there to the team. So what is he talking about? This is just all hate. That's all it is. Nothing more than hate. Okay? Hold on, beloveds. Likes up, everyone, please. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Y'all know Skip always has something to say.
Decided it didn't like how Shedeur interviewed. He said some things he should not have said, and he will tell you that to this day. I got a little carried away. But he's as tough a kid, tough a quarterback as I've ever seen. His arm is at least as good as Brady's. It's Brady-esque.
You guys act like a fifth-round pick is a punishment.
Okay.
It's not. It's an opportunity. I've never seen anybody talk this much about a fifth-round pick ever.
Because he's not a real fifth-round pick. That show you right there. I wish we could have the owners here and, you know what I'm saying, get them real liquored up. I might spill the beans. But I'm telling you.
You're telling me you
something
think
going on. Collusion.
You think these owners get together and sit there with a pipe and say, hey, we're not going to draft Shedeur Sanders?
Nah, they send a blacklist under the table, email chain, no Shedeur, no Shedeur, no Shedeur, no Shedeur.
And he would not have got drafted at all.
I think he might not have, except for that one maverick owner in Cleveland who finally stepped in and said, I don't care what you guys are doing,
Right.
we're going to take him.
We're going to take him right now. I lied on the email.
Okay, now you all heard how that man was sitting there trying to lie, talking about you think they got together. Yes, they did. Stop trying to convince us of anything else. Okay, we can look at him and tell that he is one of the people or the type of person who would definitely conspire. Sitting there trying to act like that's something they just wouldn't do. They already did it to Colin Kaepernick. Okay, nobody's been fooled by the racist arse NFL any longer. Period. Nicole just gifted 5 memberships to the channel. Thank you, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. I really appreciate you. And listen, guys, I didn't do my True Crime Sundays for the members. So I'm going to do 2 videos for the members this week. 2 this week, 1 tomorrow, and then likely 1 on Friday. So with that all being said, thank you, Nicole. Everyone shout out Nicole. All right. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, let's talk about this little low-down, dirty devil Tom Brady again, because here's the thing. Here's what I find interesting. Hold on, let me pull up my receipt real quick. So Tom Brady, here it is right here. Yeah, so Tom Brady was acting like he was just, you know, trying to give advice to Shedeur after he got drafted so far in the game. Tom Brady says he wasn't involved in Raiders' decision to pass on Shedeur Sanders. Lying devil. Okay. Shedeur Sanders fell to the 5th round of the 2025 NFL draft. A certain 6th round pick doesn't think that should discourage him. And they're talking about Tom Brady, of course, because he was picked in the 6th round. Now, with that all being said, says when asked for any insight on why Sanders fell, an area where there has been no shortage of speculation, Brady clarified that he had nothing to do with it, which is something you have to do when you are a minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders and have been reported to be helping in the football operations department. But he said he didn't have anything to do with it, okay? It's a good question. I wasn't a part of any evaluation process or to see that. That's what Tom Brady's lying self said. I know, well, everyone's got that's the problem with the media is everyone can just say whatever the F they want. Because remember, people were saying that he was hating then too. Okay, not in those particular words, but anyway, Yahoo Sports' Charles Robinson has reported in the past that Brady has known Shedeur since high school and has helped train and counsel him over the years, a relationship that exists thanks to Sanders' father, Dion. However, rather than drafting his mentee, Brady's Raiders traded for Seattle Seahawks quarterback Geno Smith and gave him a 2-year $88 million extension. They still could have selected Sanders as a quarterback of the future, okay, because Smith is 34 years old. But they instead selected star running back Ashton Genty with a 6th-round overall pick and passed on Sanders with 7 picks. Sanders ended up going to the Cleveland Browns. We already know the rest. Bottom line is he sat there and said that he didn't have anything to do with it. Now, then in a podcast clip, Brady revealed that he texted Sanders after the draft with some encouragement, mind you, noting that he had plenty of success after being drafted a round later, talking about himself. He says, I actually text Shedeur because I know him very well. And I said, dude, whatever happens, wherever you go, that's just your first day. Day 2 matters more than the draft. I was picked number 199. Yeah, so who could speak on it better than me? What that really means. Use it as motivation. You're going to get your chance. Go take advantage of it. He really said something prolific. Let me all hear this. This further shows how low down and dirty he is. Sitting there, imagine. Now, I want y'all to really marinate on this because that's a whole lot of people like Tom Brady. And they usually look like him too, in my opinion. But with that all being said, I want you all to marinate on that. The whole time this man's been plotting on Shedeur, but sitting there acting, texting him after, oh, don't worry about it. Stay motivated. Keep your head up, bro. You're going to do good. Hey, take it from me. I was in the 6th round, 199, and look where I'm at. You're going to be great. Take the moment. Take this opportunity. Can you imagine? All the while with a knife in your back. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. This is exactly why I don't trust people. This right here is exactly why. Okay, talking about he'd have nothing to do with it. And then, also, there was a time when Michael Strahan reveals what Tom Brady thought of Shedeur Sanders' draft fall. Strahan delivered a message from Tom Brady after Shedeur Sanders fell to the 5th round. Okay, during Monday's installment of Good Morning America, Strahan said he watched this year's draft with Brady, famously a 6th-round selection, 199th overall. Okay, in the 2000 NFL draft. Who had some encouraging words for the former Colorado quarterback. He says, I spent some time with Tom Brady this past weekend, and he watched the draft, and Tom said, here's an example. It doesn't matter when you're picked. That's what the former All-Pro pass rusher said. Brady, whose shirtless draft photo goes viral every year, went on to win a record 7 Super Bowl rings over his 23rd year NFL career with the Patriots and Buccaneers before he retired in February 2023. The future Pro Hall of Famer became a minority owner of the Raiders in 2024. Now, once a projected top pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, Sanders dropped to 5th round on Saturday, and the Browns traded up to take him 144th overall. So anyway, Brady goes on to say, I don't think this kid should have dropped. Let me see, Strahan, who won a Super Bowl with the Giants during his 15-year NFL career with New York, praised Cleveland for selecting the son of Pro Football Hall of Famer Deion Sanders. He said, I don't think this kid should have dropped to the 5th round, and I hate when you have unnamed sources. Okay, if you're going to say something that bad to disparage a kid, put your name on it first of all. That's what Strahan said, and I agree. See, that's why when Eric Dickerson came out and said what he said, I really wish that he had told us who told him that. Okay, anyway, an NFL analyst for Fox said seemingly he was referring to anonymous reports that Sanders acted entitled and had negative interviews with 2 teams leading up to the draft. That's another thing. They never clarified that. They never showed any proof or receipts. And quite frankly, they wouldn't say who exactly said it. So you watch so many quarterbacks who had no amounts of production like he had. It's about numbers when it comes to quarterbacks. Exactly. That's exactly what it's about. Okay, so like I said, Tom Brady is just fake as hell. Sitting up there acting like he's down for this poor young man and only to sit up there and lie. And here's a video somebody did. Says Tom Brady caught lying about Raiders not to pick Shedeur Sanders. We're going to move on in a second because we got to talk about Trump. Trump is out here causing all kind of mayhem and mischief. You all, if you missed the broadcast from yesterday, I talked about how Trump had the U.S. military blow up a boat in international waters because he said the people on there were gang members from Venezuela and that they had drugs on there, illegal substances. Now, he hasn't proven this. He hasn't verified it. We don't have any receipts. How do we know these people were drug dealers and gang members? Trump has lied on people before. So we got to talk about that because this man is out of pocket like a pistol at a robbery. And the Democrats aren't saying anything? Yeah, they're definitely in on it. Okay, but let's get into it.
When it comes down to looks like Tom Brady got caught in a lie when he talks about Shedeur Sanders. And by who else? Skip Bayless. Is it trouble in paradise when it comes down to the Tom Brady fan club? Let's watch two different clips. I'm gonna let you know what I think about it.
The room, Shedeur Sanders. What happened, Tom? Why did he go so late in the draft?
I mean, it's a good question. I wasn't a part of any evaluation process.
Now, right there. Now, I showed you all this when he first, excuse me, I'm losing my voice, when he first said it. I showed you all this when he first said it. And it's so obvious to see that he's lying. Like he's trying to literally come up with something to say. It's obvious to me that the question caught him off guard. Mel said stuttering. Exactly. Look how the dog's looking.
Skip Bayless says otherwise.
No. Well, everyone's got that's the problem with media is everyone can just say whatever the fuck they want, get away with it.
Crazy.
It's kind of unfortunate because there actually used to be a lot of integrity in media.
Yeah.
And there's way less now because everyone needs crazy voices to get heard. And it actually,
So we heard what Tom Brady had to say. Let's hear what Skip has to say about that as well.
Tom said on the Jake Paul podcast, that's the problem with media is everyone can just say whatever the fuck they want.
Now, when he made that comment about the media saying whatever the F they want and how they used to have integrity, he was definitely talking about Skip, okay? Because Skip had already called him out. But let's continue in case you all forgot.
Tom Brady has called me out. I guess he's called me a liar. So I'm about to call BS on Tom Brady because, Tom, you know and I know everything I said about you and Shedeur Sanders is obviously exactly right. I said on the Skip Bayless show, and I tweeted several times, that Tom Brady obviously played a role in the Raiders passing on Shedeur Sanders 7 times in the draft before finally Cleveland took him, as you know, early in the 5th round. 7 times the Raiders passed on Shedeur Sanders. Yet when Tom Brady was asked on the Jake Paul podcast why Shedeur fell so far, he stammered for a second. And then he said, that's a good question. And then Tom said, I wasn't part of any evaluation process or to see that. I guess meaning that he wasn't at all a part of the Raiders draft process. So he wasn't privy to any inside information about why Shedeur fell so far, so fast. Really interesting. So soon after Pete Carroll took over as Raiders coach, he said, we're going to build this team up around the quarterback position, and we're going to lean on Tom as much as we possibly can. Smart. Then there was this from the new Raiders general manager, John Spytek, who said, when we are looking at a quarterback, we'd be a fool not to involve Tom.
A broken clock is right twice a day. I'm not the biggest Skip Bayless fan. He made his career out of crapping on LeBron and glazing Tom Brady. But that lets me know, what's his point in lying? Tom Brady's his guy. He's the one that he fell out with Shannon Sharp about. Come on, man. Let me ask you this. If you are the GM or the coach of a team and the greatest quarterback to ever play the game is partial owner, a minority owner, and you don't ask him, hey, that kid Shedeur, I know you coached him. Just give me something about him. You know, how you like him? How is he? You know, anything I can use to try to make a good decision. We really need a quarterback here. And I'm either going to go get this veteran Geno or I'm going to draft this new guy. or at least see if he can be behind Geno and learn and make him start the second year. And y'all really believe that Tom didn't have nothing to do with that? It would be one thing if Tom came out and said, hey, you know, I had a good relationship with the kid. I just don't think he's ready, or this is something I don't think is going to fit for the Raiders organization. Tom is like, that's a good question. Bro, you capping, boy, you capping. And if you believe what he's saying, you are as gullible as anybody else. This whole situation is bigger than what they trying to let on. But the good thing about it is, and I'm going to do a video on this, Shedeur is actually having interviews now. Now people can't hide behind anonymous quotes. Now we get to see it. So this is all going to play out how it's supposed to. But I just wanted to say, man, Tom Brady, man, you capped out. You know you lying. You know they asked you about him. And you know you didn't want to risk the relationship you had with Shedeur by telling the truth about how you backdoored him.
That's what it happened. That's what happened. That's what happened, you guys. And here's the thing, beloveds. The thing with haters is they can never continuously hide their hate. Sooner than later, the hate has to come out. They can't help themselves. So now he's let the cat out of the bag. Okay, now he's let the cat out of the bag. Vince I Am called him Tom Shady. Said, oh dear, Tom Shady is being aired out like dirty laundry. Not Tom Shady. That's exactly who he is. Now let's go to this one more clip, and then we're moving on to get on Trump.
Did Josh Freeman start his? Yeah, it fucked him up mentally. He crashed. You can name a whole bunch of people who started off.
Let me tell you something. Keith, you can attest to this. We're talking about Shedeur. What's the last name? Sanders. If his name is Shedeur Johnson, do we care if he's 5th round pick that's starting? No. This is an issue because of his last name.
Yeah.
Take his last name out of it.
Is it good?
5th round picks, though. I've heard you talk over and over about 2nd round picks in the NBA and why Bronny shouldn't be judged because he was drafted here. And usually this is what, so let's give him that same grace. In the NFL, if you're drafted in the 5th round, you take the reps we give you. So people say, oh, well, they set him up. No, he's a 5th round pick. I don't care if your last name is Sanders.
Well, you can't say that we don't care about your last name because we cared about it when we didn't want to draft you in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round.
Right. Who cared about it?
They did.
32 owners cared about it.
It was a story in the meet. Like, listen. Okay, we have to stop doing this. I never thought he was a 1st round quarterback.
Okay.
But that's not your job to.
But what I'm saying is, Key, when you see these players, sometimes you are a 1st rounder in the draft. Sometimes you are a 1st rounder, 2nd rounder because of the time you're getting drafted. That's what makes you where you're at. But not everybody. Some people can get drafted in any draft and still be a 1st rounder. That's where you know you're that. Some people come into a draft and they're ranked where they're at because of their draft they're in. Shedeur Sanders, you said before the season you thought he was going to be a 1st overall pick.
Absolutely.
But the year prior, why didn't he come out? Because he knew in that draft, But this next year, I got a chance to be.
No, but he had to go back and win for his dad.
Hell
His
yeah,
dad needed him.
it's
So they
circumstance.
went with his dad. What?
He had to go. He wasn't ready to come out.
on.
The job wasn't done yet. You know what I'm saying? He ain't feel like I ain't set myself up to be the number 1 pick.
Yeah, but
After his last year, he set himself up to be the number 1 pick.
They won one game versus.
Tell you all something, honey. Sometimes it be your own people. Okay, sometimes it be your own people. Do y'all hear the hate? Is he mad because his last name isn't Sanders? He sounds ridiculous. Okay, Panther Strike said, what is he wearing, Queen? A player needs to dress like a man who commands respect with his Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey ass. I'm so done.
Ranked opponents won. All these ranked opponents they played in college, they won one game.
He led the nation in passing percentage.
He threw 40 tubs in 6 picks.
With that team from Colorado.
Come on, bro. This Colorado we talking about.
Colorado.
This Colorado we talking about.
Hey, guess what? Graham Harrell led the league in passing too. You know what that is?
Hell no.
Exactly.
Hey.
Exactly. Every quarterback not named Patrick Mahomes from Texas Tech at one point was leading everybody in passing.
Okay, so you're saying he's not special. Is that your
That's
bottom
exactly
line?
what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm saying he is special.
He's not.
special.
No, Shedeur is not special. Can he be a starter in this league? Yes.
Well, if you could be a starter in the league, you damn special. Yeah. There's only 32 of them in the world.
You're
like,
good.
You know what I'm saying? You fucking
Special is different. Special is different. Like, special is like a Patrick Mahomes is special. Lamar Jackson is special. I see.
CJ Stroud is special.
Not yet.
Is Dylan Gabriel special?
You're not
Motherfucker won the state championship in Houston, went to O State, lost in the championship.
But listen.
First round pick, you started field. That nigga is special. What you mean?
God, he was just annoying. What an idiot. The hate is real, honey. Okay? The hate is real. Like I said, honey, sometimes it be your own people. Nene said he's dressed like a toddler. He looked ridiculous. Pretty Wing said this dude is special in the head, okay? Make it all make sense. That all being said, let's talk about y'all's president. Let's talk about y'all's president, because I told you all Trump had that. He said he had that little boat that had the rugs on it, the illegal substances on it. He said there was 11 people. He had it bombed by the U.S. military. Then he proceeded to post a video of it, which I'll show you just a moment. But also he posted this. Now, didn't I tell you all? Now, y'all know y'all heard this here first, okay? Don't play with me. I told you all the other day when they had that meeting in China, where they had Xi Jinping and they had Narendra Modi from India, the Indian prime minister. They had Modi, they had Xi Jinping, and then they had Putin, right? Didn't I tell y'all that Trump was going to be crying in the car, especially when he found out that Modi, who hates him, by the way, was holding hands with Putin? Here's what Trump had to say. He sounds like a jealous wife. Okay, please pay attention. He said, the big question, now he posted this to Truth Social. He said the big question is to be answered is whether or not President Xi of China will mention the massive amount of support and blood that the United States of America gave to China in order to help it secure its freedom from a very unfriendly foreign invader. Many Americans died in China's quest for victory and glory. I hope that they are rightfully honored and remembered for their bravery and sacrifice. May President Xi and the wonderful people of China have a great and lasting day of celebration. Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America. President Donald J. Trump. Hear that? Tell me Trump doesn't sound like a woman scorned. Do y'all hear this fool? Do y'all hear this fool? He sounds like a woman scorned. Nene said, I was wondering how he was going to strike back. His ego's bruised beyond repair. He literally sounds like an ex that you break up with, and then they find out you're with somebody else, and now they're stalking you, like calling your phone, leaving messages, talking trash or whatever. That's what it's given. Because just listen to the last part when he said, I am just done. The last part where he says, please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America. And then bringing up what he did for China. Trump is so petty and so darn stupid. It's sad. Okay, it is so, and just being sarcastic the whole time. Oh, well, I guess the wedding's off for him and Putin. I guess the bromance is over. I told y'all, didn't I tell y'all that? I told y'all, honey. Trump is mad. Do y'all hear me? Honey, Trump is beyond livid at this point. Okay, but anyway, let's go to this video about this little boat here. Now, Trump said he was bragging about it. Now, I want you all to think about this, because here's the thing. Lillian said it really is, Queen, okay? Let me tell y'all something. This is really dangerous what Trump did. Because like I said, how do we know these people were Venezuelan gang members? How do we know there was illegal substances on that boat? And how do we know there was no innocent people on there? What about children? How do we know any of these things? You see, this is a crime. We know Trump doesn't care about committing crimes. He's a man of lawlessness. But he was supposed to get approval for Congress before he did something like this. So let's talk about it. I'm going to share the video, okay, that he posted as he bragged about 11 people supposedly being bombed. Y'all saw it. Y'all saw that? Claudette said thug in chief. Exactly. Now, as I was saying, that's very dangerous because we don't know. And let's just look into it. Hold on, beloveds. Let's just look into it for a minute, shall we? Hold on. Okay, here we go. Let's see what they say. Hold on. Now listen to this. Now I'm getting this from Chat GPT, just so you all know. So you all can see what I'm talking about here. Okay? I'm trying to read these comments. Okay, let me share my screen. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, now here's what it says. Now, this is what I typed in. I'm telling y'all, Trump did something illegal and nobody's saying anything, not even the Democrats. Okay, can a U.S. president have the military bomb criminals in international waters? This is the question that I typed in. Now, mind you, we don't know if these people were even criminals because Trump is a liar who lies. And I don't think we should just believe something because he said it, okay, without proof. Okay, so here's what it says. No, a U.S. president cannot legally order the military to bomb criminals in international waters under normal circumstances. Here's why. Now, they can do it if it's like for self-defense or something like that, if they're in danger. But you just can't say, oh, they're criminals, they're smuggling rugs, and let's just go ahead and bomb them. You can't do that. At least you're not supposed to. The use of U.S. military force is governed by U.S. law, the Constitution, War Powers Resolution, international law, which is law of the sea, rules of engagement, and Department of Defense policies. 2, criminals or enemy combatants. Okay, criminals, pirates, rug traffickers, smugglers are not legally classified as enemy combatants or lawful military targets. Did y'all hear that? Let me read that again. Criminals, such as pirates, rug traffickers, or smugglers, are not legally classified as enemy combatants or lawful military targets. Killing them with military force, such as bombs or drone strikes, would likely be considered extrajudicial killing, violating both domestic due process and international human rights laws. Y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? How come nobody's talking about it? Don't y'all know this man just committed a whole act of war? Now, if those people actually are from Venezuela, don't you know Venezuela could start some mess with the U.S.? Mel said, Queen, please send that to the Democrats. I don't have to. You know they know this. I'm not even a politician, and I know what he did was an act of war. They know it too, beloved. They're not doing anything about it for a reason. Thank you, retired federal police Banks, for your contribution to the channel, beloved. Happy Wednesday to you, too. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. This is absolutely crazy, but let's continue. Now, international waters, lawless zones. International waters are not a free-for-all. They're governed by international law, especially the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Naval forces may interdict or arrest pirates or traffickers, but bombing is not illegal or proportional response. And see, that's the thing. You all saw how small that little old boat was. Now, why couldn't they have just swooped down there? Okay. Why couldn't they just have swooped down there from a helicopter or whatever and taken them into custody? Or sent a big boat out there to get him and scoop him up, put him under arrest. Why didn't they just do that? No, he had those people killed, and then he bragged about it on Truth Social. That he had 11 people murdered, bombed, he said. Who in the hell does this devil think he is? Let me continue. So exceptions. Now, here are the exceptions to when the president can do this. And I'm sure none of them will apply to Trump in this predicament or this situation. The only plausible justification would be if the criminals pose an imminent threat akin to terrorism or warfare. Armed militants launching attacks, for example. Well, we know they weren't doing any of that. Even then, the president would usually need to follow legal channels, justify the action under self-defense, and notify Congress under the War Powers Resolution. Didn't I tell y'all he committed a whole act of war? I'm trying to tell y'all. Consequences of illegal use of force. The president and military could face international condemnation, war crimes accusations, legal action by Congress or international courts. Do y'all hear this? Now, let's just sit back and see what happens, because I bet you nothing. This man is on a war path, and he's doing anything and everything he wants, and nobody is trying to stop him. That's how everybody has to be in on it. The Democrats have to be working with the Republicans to let Trump do whatever. Thank you, beloved. Retired federal police banks just donated and gifted 5 memberships to the channel. You all be sure to shout her out. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Y'all are getting some free memberships today. Y'all should be so grateful. Now, U.S. Navy or Coast Guard can interdict and arrest suspected criminals in international waters under certain legal frameworks, such as piracy laws, international rug treaties, extradition and prosecution in U.S. or partner nation courts. Ooh, honey, let me tell you something, honey. Trump, see, I just had to let y'all see that, because nobody is talking about this man committing a whole act of war, okay? But let's continue. Now, you all do know that some of the victims of Epstein spoke yesterday at the Capitol, and so they're supposed to be speaking again today, some of them. One of the people, it was her first time speaking out publicly. I'm going to pull up the footage. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go. That's another thing Trump's just trying to distract us from. He wants everybody to forget about it. They said something about Epstein is going to amount to anything. I promise you that. Nothing is going to amount to anything, okay? They're just playing in our faces. And I'm starting to think that some of these Democrats must be on the list too, and that's why they're all quiet, acting like they want Trump to release it, but I don't think they really do.
Epstein. She's telling her story publicly for the first time as lawmakers in Capitol Hill push for the release of all the files on Epstein. ABC News Live Prime anchor Lindsay Davis is in Washington with that story. Good morning, Lindsay.
Hey, good morning again, George. Her statements to the FBI are credited with helping to put Jeffrey Epstein behind bars. Marina Lacerda details years of abuse at the hands of Epstein, starting right after she turned 14. Now 37, she talks about her ongoing trauma and why she is imploring lawmakers to make all the Epstein files public.
Until now, Marina Lacerda was known publicly only as minor victim number 1 in 2019 court documents. But now she's speaking out for the first time about her experience at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Her cooperation with the FBI was key to putting the sex offender behind bars. She says she was just 14 years old and living in a broken home in New York City when a friend brought her to meet Epstein to give him a massage.
I think with Jeffrey Epstein, it starts somewhere, but then it ends with either you having sex with him, whether you like it or not.
She became a part of a network of young girls in Astoria, Queens, recruited to be with Epstein, similar to what prosecutors say he did in Palm Beach, Florida.
When he has somebody new in his life, he likes to see them a lot. So I went there a whole bunch of times, and, you know, it led to, unfortunately, he forced me to have sex with him, basically.
Lacerda says she was paid thousands of dollars and that as a young immigrant from Brazil, she says she believed being associated with a financier could lead to better opportunities.
It never happened, obviously, you know, because it came to a point when I was, I'd say 16 and a half or 17. He didn't want me anymore. He was just like, you're too old.
He said that?
He's like, you're too old. I don't want you anymore.
Epstein was arrested in 2019.
Did you all hear that? When she was 16 or 17, then he told her she was too old. Dirty freak. Such a shame.
And charged with conspiracy and child sex trafficking, but died by suicide a month later while in custody awaiting trial.
To your knowledge, you never came across other adults who may have thought, it's really strange that there's this 14-year-old girl here.
We had the secretary, right, that would give me money if I needed. At times, I would pass by his office. His driver, or I guess his bodyguard, I don't know who he was, he delivered furniture to the house. The maids sometimes would be there. I would be hanging out in the kitchen.
In 2008, during the FBI's first investigation of Epstein, agents arrived at her door.
I was living with, you know, roommates that were like around my age, 17, 18 at the time. And I was like, well, I have to call Jeffrey. What am I going to do?
Lacerda says that she called Epstein, who hired an attorney for her, and she never heard anything further about the case. It was in 2019 that the FBI spoke to Lacerda again, and this time her statements to the FBI helped them build a case against Epstein.
Do you feel some relief, some pride that there was this direct line in ultimately him getting arrested?
I would have felt much better today speaking if I was able to speak in 2008. If they would have gave me the chance to speak, these women would not have been through this.
Now a mother, Lacerda says in the days before traveling to Capitol Hill, she pushed herself to share her story with her own daughter, hoping to set an example for the next generation.
I did tell her, and that was tough. But she's so little and so naive. She's like, you know, she's like, Mom, you're such a badass.
As the political debate over the release of more files related to Epstein rages on Capitol Hill, Lacerda is hoping transparency can help her remember the details she's forgotten and finally begin to recover from the trauma.
What would you like Congress to do?
I would like for them to give all the victims transparency to what happened and release these files. It's also not only for the victims, but for the American people.
Several lawmakers are holding a press conference later today with multiple Epstein survivors, some of whom have never spoken publicly before. Speaker Johnson says the GOP is committed to transparency, which is exactly what Lacerda says she wants. We'll have more of her heartbreaking story tonight on ABC News Live Prime at 7 p.m. Eastern, guys.
Honey, Jeffrey Epstein's probably over there in Israel laughing at everybody, honey. Dyed his hair red, grew a beard, dyed that red too, and wearing a small hat with little curls on the side. How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet? Probably over there just having the time of his life while the poor victims are left to suffer through the trauma that he caused. Low down, dirty devil. Okay, so let's listen to Jasmine Crockett, honey. Jasmine discusses testimony from Epstein victim who just spoke out for the very first time. Jasmine, they say you're not doing anything for the people, honey. Okay, you know what y'all said about Jasmine Crockett? Didn't y'all say Jasmine didn't do anything for the people? She only helping the immigrants. Isn't that what y'all said about Little Miss Crockett? Because I told y'all I like Little Miss Crockett, but I guess y'all don't like her, so. Okay. Dorada said, Queen said little curls on the side. Dorada, I wasn't trying to be funny. I'm serious. That's how I see him in my mind's eye. Okay, over there living lavish, honey, too, at the end of the day. It's all a shame. So, sister said, Jasmine Crockett is about the only one doing anything. Everyone else is sleeping. Okay, that's what I said. I don't know why they don't like little Miss Crockett. Okay. Nicole said she hates typing without her glasses on. Typos everywhere. All right. God's new flower said, I agree. I think the serpent is still alive. Not that you called him a serpent, beloved. Ooh, honey, I am so done with you. You all, this chat is nefarious. Panther Strike says she's not queen. Hold on. Says she's not queen. I'd like her more if she developed legislation for our people. Now she's about to be out of a job, all due to her buck dancing. Mrs. Special K said the little curls on the side took me out. Y'all are something else, okay? But let's continue. Let's hear what little Miss Crockett has to say. Listen, you guys, she's out there doing what she can do. All right? And you know, it's true. Really, nobody else is saying anything. Why are the Democrats so quiet? Like, seriously, they're not going to say anything about Trump getting the military to blow up that boat. That is insane to me. Now, yesterday, I didn't go in so hard on it because when I talked about it, I really didn't think Trump was probably telling the truth when he said it. Okay, then they said he posted a video and the video's in black and white, and I laughed because I'm thinking, come on, this is probably something he got off the internet. But this man really had people bombed. And nobody thinks this is insane and they're not going in on him about it. All crazy. All crazy. Okay, here we go.
And first of all, let me just say that we are standing before you. We're having this conversation because of the oversight Democratic leadership. And so I want to reiterate that it's the Democratic leadership on oversight that has truly been able to move this forward. I'm sure many of you don't recall, but we were sent home early to try to avoid being able to take a vote on something like getting these files. We are about doing real transparency. We don't care who's in the files. We are going after you. So if I had to sum up what happened today, we heard the stories of victims. And honestly, we heard the story of at least one person that has never come forward before.
Hold on, you guys. For those of you telling me the video is on Reddit and all of that, I have the video. I just showed it. If you got here late, I already played the video. I'm just saying yesterday I got the news while I was literally on live. So I thought baby Trump could be lying. Y'all know he's a liar who lies, honey. You can't believe anything he says.
Today, this was the very first time that she was telling anyone in a semi-public way her story. And if I had to summarize the theme, I would say that their theme was to do something. It is probably the theme of the American people in general right now when it comes to government, is that they want us to do something. So yes, we had the roundtable, but they actually want to see some action. The fact that this started off in the 90s, and we had someone who could talk about what happened to them in the 90s. But then you go down the line and you've got somebody that's telling us their story from 2008. These failures led to years and years of abuse that did not have to take place. And so the reality is this. Some think that this is all over and some think that nothing else is going on. But if there was ever a RICO case, it would have been the Epstein case. So how we went from something that should have been RICO because of how sophisticated of a system this was, and this wasn't just one little sick old man that was doing stuff, but there were so many layers, whether we're talking about the banks that were involved, whether we're talking about those that worked for him, that helped him, whether we're talking about the monster known as Maxwell. And that's exactly how y'all need to refer to her. She is a monster. She is not a victim. So let me tell you, I want some action items to come out of this because for once we somewhat look like we're bipartisan in the oversight committee. Number one, we need answers. We need answers on why it is that Maxwell was transferred from her current station or her former station in Florida down to Texas. We need to have an understanding because everything that I heard today leads me to know that for sure she was all up and in and through this entire process, not to mention that she was indicted by a jury of her peers, and then she was tried and convicted and given 20 years. So why is it that we had somebody, again, it almost seems like we are doomed to repeat our failures? Because why is it we have high-level people that seemingly are running cover for a criminal? And that is what she is. She is a monster and she is a criminal. So number one, we need answers on what happened with that transfer, why it took place. And honestly, we all need to stand together and say that Maxwell needs to go back to where the monsters go, which is.
Okay, so this is all making sense. So this is why Jasmine hasn't said anything about him blowing up that darn boat, because she was busy at the Capitol listening to what the victims had to say. So now she's going in about that. I'm going to have to call her when I end the live so I can let her know exactly what went down with that boat so she can get on that too. Because Trump needs to be in jail somewhere. He needs to be locked up.
To a higher level of security. We also need to understand that Debbie Wasserman Schultz has legislation that she has been trying to push forward. And so in a bipartisan way, we all need to get behind Debbie, because we found, and what we learned is that there were loopholes as it relates to the Crime Victims Act. And so we've got to make sure that no other victims suffer in the way that they did when you have somebody like Alex Acosta that decides that he wants to play games and dismiss a case and never inform the victims of what's going on as is required by law. So we are going to have to fix those loopholes to make sure that that doesn't happen, because it took them 10 years of fighting this. And ultimately, by the time they got to the end of it, well, it also was Jeffrey Epstein's end. And so there was not a resolution for that. And the final thing that I think that we need to do is, obviously, we need to continue to push forward and make sure that we get all the files, because we know that we have not received them all. Because I am standing in front of the press, I'm also going to make a plea. One of the things that I realized was that there's a lot of stuff that the DOJ may have, but honestly, if you don't have a thorough investigation, and I can't say if we had a thorough investigation or not, we have no idea. But the reality is that when you have investigators that go out and they collect information. I am not necessarily convinced that they even have gone out and done their due diligence to fully investigate this case in the first place. So if there's anyone in the public that believes that you have information that would be valuable, you've never been able to get through to federal agencies, or no one would listen to you when you try to go forward and bring information forward, I am asking that you trust oversight Dems and you bring that information to us. Or if you know where some information is contained, let us know so that we can then send subpoenas out that way. We want to do right, not only by those that have already suffered under Epstein, but we want to prevent other trafficking rings that we know are out there. We want to make sure that we are doing right for future generations. So with that, I now have the honor of presenting to you the firecracker out of New Mexico.
So first thing first, I want to thank my lawyers. I want to thank the jurors. I want to thank the judge, and I want to thank the respectful press. I really, really appreciate that. And I want to thank everybody at home supporting me. I know you guys having a little key with the moment, but to be honest with you, I have missed my kids' first day of school today. I missed my kids' last week of school yesterday because of this. And I'm not even playing around. I would, even if I'm in my deathbed, I swear to God, I will say it in my deathbed. I did not touch that woman. I did not touch that girl. I didn't lay my hands on that girl. And with that being said, this time around, I'm going to be nice. The next person to try to do a frivolous lawsuit against me, I'm going to countersue. And I'm going to make you pay. Because this is not okay. I think people have like this misinterpretations of celebrities. Like it's like, oh, well, we can ask for this and they're going to settle. You don't work at home and you don't work all day and you don't work for your money to give out your money. So don't ever think that I'm just going to give you my money that I work hard for. I don't lay in bed all day. I work all day. And I work hard for my money, for my kids, and for people I take care of. So don't you ever think that you're going to sue me and I'm just going to settle and just give me my money. It's not gonna happen. I do also want fans at home though not to find their social media, her family's social media, her social media, and bother her. I hope that this is something that I leave behind, that she leave behind. Don't go bother her. Don't be talking about her. Don't be talking about how she look. Don't call her no nasty names. Let's just put this behind. But I'm giving a warning. I am not that celeb that you're gonna sue and you think it's gonna settle. I'm not gonna settle, especially when I'm super completely innocent. I know I got a little reputation, but I swear to God I'm innocent. I swear to God, like this, like I'm really innocent for real. And I just want to say thank you, everybody. It's been really tough. It's been really long nights for me. I'm in the middle of album rollout, so it's been late nights and early 5:30 in the morning. I gotta get up 5:30 so I can look like this for y'all. Muchas gracias para toda mi gente latina que me están soportando y vinieron toda la mañana. Ustedes se ven bien maquillada, pelo, cuerpo bonito, y vinieron para acá para show me support. 5 días. Y los hombres también.
Una peluca diferente.
I'm telling you guys, when I say that my forehead is raw from changing all these wigs, raw. And yeah, thank you for the witnesses and thank you for everybody that just took their time to come out.
¿Tú vas a contrademandar a esta mujer?
No.
Cardi, they came back so quickly with this verdict. What does that say?
It says that it's bull.
De que cualquier persona que te vuelva a hacer algo así, que demandar, vas a contrademandar.
Voy a contrademandar, tú a ver. Si me joden otra vez, lo voy a contrademandar.
Cardi, tell us your courtroom strategy. The internet has been on fire with people saying, keeping it classy, but also keeping it real. How did you approach some of those questions and making sure that you are getting your point across?
By just telling the truth. It's really funny that people are just like, oh, she's amazing up there. And I'm like, I'm just saying the truth. I'm just telling everything as much as detailed as I can remember. I'm just telling the truth. To be honest with you, like I didn't do nothing special.
Tus abogados hicieron un gran trabajo.
Sí.
Tus abogados hicieron un gran trabajo. ¿Cuál crees tú que fue la estrategia perfecta de ellos para contigo y ganar este caso?
Diciendo la verdad, siempre diciendo la verdad, tratando de tú sabes, el tiempo, las horas, investigando, tiene que investigar.
Por eso tú decidiste irte a un tribunal, ¿verdad? Porque sabías que era...
Ay, ¿tú piensas que es fácil darle a una gente tu dinero? Que tú estás trabajando. Una mierda.
Todos sabíamos que era
No le des dinero a nadie que te esté demandando por...
Es fácil. Yo pensé que
Oye, Cardi, ¿tus hijos cómo están?
They're good. That was the case for me. Like I said,
Disappointed with the verdict?
not at all. I don't think that it reflects the truth, but I'm not disappointed. We know that the justice system is sometimes flawed, and unfortunately, that was the case for me. Like I said, I still stand firm on my position. I still stand firm on my attorney. I think we fought a good fight, but like I said, more importantly, it's about accountability. I had my day in court. I showed up. I held my head high, and I can walk away and say that I showed up, and she had to look me in the eye. I had to look her in the eye, and we did our best.
Are you sorry you brought the case in retrospect?
Not at all. Not at all.
She said that she would refuse to countersue in this case. She said that if anybody else, brings a case, this is her words, that's frivolous, she called it, she would be countersuing, not to basically mess with her again. What do you think about that?
This is for me?
Yeah.
Well, my statement is, obviously, you never know what a jury is going to do. You could try a case in different courts with different juries, and you'll have 10 different outcomes. You just never really know what a jury is going to do. We did our best to present the facts that we needed to present to the jury, and we obviously have a right to appeal, and our intention is to appeal.
You're going to appeal.
How do you feel about
Yes.
how the defendant conducted herself in court?
I thought it was totally unprofessional. I think it showed value to her character, the type of person that she is. A lot of her body language, her body gestures, her facial expressions, her disrespect for the court, I think speaks to who she is. I think we saw how I conducted myself during this trial, and I think that speaks volume.
Sir, could you say and spell your first name and last name?
Sure. My name is Ron Rosenjanfaza. I'm the attorney for the plaintiff. I've had this case for a number of years. I did take it over from another lawyer, and we put it together as best we could with what we had to work with. I disagree with the verdict. As you know, you can see from Cardi B, she has a history of doing these things. Even today in the courthouse, right in where I'm standing in this area, she threw something at one of you. And I think that's just, very poor judgment on her part to go ahead and do something like that here in the courthouse. This is a court. You don't do this. It's wrong. And she really, made a fool of herself, in my opinion.
With a unanimous verdict, what is the basis for an appeal? Would it be a factual error, something that the judge did wrong? What would the basis be for an appeal?
Well, there's many different things that occurred. I can't really get into the details now. That would be for the appellate attorney that I work with, who's going to be handling that with me, and we will decide how we're going to handle it. Ms. Alice, what's next for you?
I'm going to law school.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. I
Did this
appreciate that.
case prompt you to decide to go to law school?
I had already had plans on going to law school, but I think during this case, it kind of amplified a lot of those dreams.
Do you feel like you've been painted in a bad light in the public?
I think from the defendant, yes. But that's what she's going to do. She's going to make me seem like a bad person. I know who I am. I know the things that I've accomplished. So that's all that matters to me.
You started out as a fan of her music. Are you still a fan today?
No,
Will you be listening to her new album? It drops in 6 days, she keeps saying.
not at all.
Miss Ellis, Cardi did ask that the public please leave you alone, not slander you, say things behind your back on social media. Does that mean anything to you?
That's news to me. She's never told me that. She's never even offered me an apology. So I'm not sure.
She don't owe you an apology, girl. Sit down somewhere, honey. Did y'all hear that? But let me tell you all something. Do you all know who Cardi B threw something at? That's why I let that video play, because I thought they were going to show it on there, but I'm going to show you all the video. Cardi B sat up there and talked after, and then somebody ticked her off, and it was a YouTuber. I'm going to show the video right here. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And if you don't know who it is, maybe you'll recognize this voice.
Hey, Cardi, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Cardi, insiders are claiming that Offset is publicly bragging about getting you pregnant for the 4th time. Do you foresee any paternity issues with Stephon Diggs?
Stop disrespecting me. Don't disrespect me.
Cardi, your court look is amazing.
You're amazing, Cardi. I still love you, even though you just threw some stuff at
I
me.
don't care. You're disrespectful. Don't do that. Do you see women asking those type of questions to me?
No, ma'am.
She's a queen.
It's a legit
Why
question.
do you feel as a man you get to ask me those type of questions? Act like you have some manners.
That's right.
And your mama taught you respect women.
That's right.
All
You
right,
look
Cardi.
gorgeous, Cardi. Go ahead, Bronx. You was so.
And you could thank him. I'm not playing around.
We
I
love
was
you,
very
Cardi.
nice. I was very kind. But you're not gonna.
Cardi, I love you. It's just a question.
Nobody's gonna get that.
Hey, Cardi, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, that was nobody other than Donat, okay? That's who it was. The YouTuber she threw something at, that was Donat. You can tell his voice anywhere. Now, why would he ask that girl that? They're going to sit there and talk about it was just a question. Messy boots, okay? All right. So anyway, that's who the Imani's attorney was talking about. Said she threw something at one of you. Well, we know how Cardi B is. That's no surprise to us. But unfortunately for them, their case was frivolous. That girl was lying. That girl was lying, okay? It was just so obvious. And then the fact that they claimed that she went and got surgery or something done 2 years later, and trying to act like Cardi caused her any type of injuries. Girl, there was nothing wrong with your face at first. Okay, you might have done something after the fact and had to get your face fixed. I don't know. But on that date, there was nothing wrong with her face. I believe the doctor and the witness, the receptionist. Okay. So anyway, with that all being said, I'm about to be out of here. I have 2 more things to show you all. Trump says he's set to order federal intervention in Chicago and Baltimore, despite a local opposition. Honey, Trump doesn't give a darn. Do y'all hear me? Trump is determined he's going to do whatever the hell he wants. Nobody's going to stop him. Said nobody's going to stop him. Let me cue this video. Something else. Here he goes right here with his lying self. I just can't even stand Trump, honey. Just looking at him. He even looks a hot mess. And that's because that's what he is.
Yep.
Have you decided you're definitely going to send National Guard troops to Chicago?
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks and 75 are shot with bullets, there's no place in the world, including you can go to Afghanistan, you can go to places that you would think of. They don't even come close to this. Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole right now. I would love to have him call. I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, sir, we need help. It's out of control. And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. You know, we took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals, frankly. They were born to be criminals, and they're tough and mean, and they'll cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. And we're not going to have those people.
Did y'all hear this idiot? He said they're hardcore criminals. They were born to be criminals, and they're tough, and they'll cut your throat. They won't even think about it the next day. How does he know all this? Is he some sort of psychologist? This stupid self. Huh? This is all just a hot mess. I want y'all to pay attention. But anyway, here's something that I thought you guys would appreciate. Okay, I thought you guys would really enjoy this because I did. But before we get into it, let me just say something. I think it was Andrew from the Land Down Under that said something about Epstein, that we probably still believe he's dead. Here's the thing. Jeffrey Epstein's body was claimed supposedly by an unidentified associate. Don't y'all find that interesting? Epstein was found dead by apparent suicide Saturday morning. Multiple sources say he wasn't on suicide watch. Epstein's body has been claimed from the New York City Medical Examiner's Office. A source close to the investigation told NBC News this on Wednesday. Epstein was found dead by an apparent suicide in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. The center's warden has been temporarily reassigned, and the 2 guards assigned to watch Epstein have been placed on leave. Epstein wasn't on suicide watch at the time of his death. Multiple people familiar with the investigation have told NBC News. Attorney General William Barr has said that he was appalled by the development and that he was consulted with the Justice Department's Inspector General, who is also investigating. After Epstein was arrested last month on charges of trafficking of minors and conspiracy to engage in trafficking of minors, his attorneys asked U.S. District Judge Richard Berman to allow Epstein to post bond secured by a mortgage on his home in Manhattan. So that's all they say. That's all they say. According to court documents, they said the bond would have been co-secured by his brother Mark Epstein and a friend identified as David Mitchell. Berman denied bond on July the 18th. About a week later, Epstein was found injured and in a fetal position in his cell, raising questions at the time of whether he tried to take himself out. You know, I never looked into this before, okay? So they're saying some unidentified person. That's real suspicious. Y'all don't think so? I'm see if I can find anything else on it because that's just they just gave a little tidbit of information. Okay, now it says, while early reports referred to the claimant as an unidentified associate, sources have later confirmed it was Mark Epstein. Following the claim, Mark Epstein publicly expressed skepticism about the official suicide ruling and hired a private forensic pathologist to secure his brother's autopsy. So they said it was claimed by his brother now. First, they said some unidentified person. That's what the article said. Honey, it's lies either way. I just think it's all lies and BS, okay? And because they claim that he's buried in an unmarked grave in a mausoleum near his mom and his dad. Okay, how would we ever know it's really him if there's no name on it? Okay, please pay attention. All right, so anyway, with that all been said, y'all, let's get into it so I can get out of here. I want you all to see this video, and let me tell y'all something. This is why you don't mess with people. This is why you don't mess with people. Let me tell you all something. People be out here on the internet talking crazy to people, getting to people's chats, trolling and saying all kind of ignorant, crazy stuff. And sometimes they don't even know who the hell they're messing with. So let me show you who sometimes you could be messing with. All right? Because this dude right here is not the one. Let me tell you, somebody's about to have a whole heap of trouble as soon as he gets finished with them, honey. And I'm here for it. I am here for it. Now, y'all see this black dude right here? So some racist got in his chat talking slick, calling him slurs. And this is what happened next. Please pay attention. Don't let this be you.
To
Is
the
all
white
I'm
guy
saying.
that called me slurs over and over again in my live stream the other night for no reason, guess what? You're going to get kicked out of the United States Navy. You know how they tell us that we should be careful what we do on social media because there could be real life consequences? Hi, my name's Real Life Consequence. I've done a thorough background check and now I know everything about you. I know what little town in Texas you're from. I know your name, your phone number, your email address. I've seen your disciplinary records. I know the names of all of your family members, including your dead mother and your daughter who turns 2 next week and her mother who's going to have to pay for all the birthday presents this year because you came into my live stream and saw a black man who was talking about Pokemon cards and video games and you assumed, yeah, he's not going to do anything if I call him slurs repeatedly even though he's trying to help me. Turns out I am going to do something. Turns out there are so many things I can do because I have all the screenshots. I have all of the recordings. I know that after you left my live stream, you went into someone else's and started talking about how much you love Jesus and God and the Bible. So maybe I should send that evidence to the church you go to in that little town we both know about. I know exactly which boat in the Navy you serve on, and I know the names of black sailors that serve on the same boat as you. Maybe I'll send the clips to them as well. But only after I send them to the Naval Inspector General's office because I'm getting you fired. I'm getting you kicked out of the Navy. There's nothing you can do to stop me. There is no apology I will accept. There is no excuse I will listen to. There is no money you could offer me. You're getting fired. And when you're working the graveyard shift in an Amazon warehouse and your back hurts and your feet hurt and those white bright lights are beating down on you and the teenager who still has his life ahead of him walks up to you and says, "What are you doing here?" Tell him the truth. Tell him about me.
Ooh, honey, did y'all hear that? He went in, didn't he? Ooh, honey, he went all in. Do y'all hear that? Ooh, honey, I'm talking about that must be the troll whisperer, honey. Y'all better pay attention. All right, y'all better pay attention. I think me and him are going to be good friends, okay? I'm going to have to hire him. All right, now let's listen to this video this lady did about him. Hold on.
Ahead of him walks up to you and says, "What are you doing here?" Tell him the truth. Tell him about me.
I love this song. I have the number of times I just sat and watched this TikTok over and over again because I love it so much. It's ridiculous. Also, for no reason whatsoever, I looked up everything you lose when you are dishonorably discharged, and you lose fucking everything. No VA benefits, no health care, no GI Bill, no home assistance, no transition support, no military funeral, no student loans, no government assistance. You no longer be able to own a firearm. Depending on where you live, you may lose your right to vote. Holding certain public offices may be restricted or prohibited. A dishonorable discharge disqualifies you from most federal jobs. The discharge acts as a significant barrier in civilian employment, as employers often check discharge documents. The background checks, this is my favorite part. The discharge is a permanent part of your record and cause you to get ghosted during the process. I love this TikTok. I could just watch it all day, over and over and over again. It's beautiful.
Darn shame. That's a darn shame. Y'all see, he brought that on himself. Okay, he totally brought that on himself. Okay, so I have 2 more videos for y'all to see. These old people, honey, I want y'all to pay attention. This is so sad. So here's what happened. Okay, so it's going down at a senior citizen home. So what was supposed to be a relaxed summer barbecue outside of a senior living complex in Detroit turned into a fight club with a messy love triangle that spiraled into gunfire. Okay, 4 residents of Sheridan Place Apartments on East Jefferson Street are now recovering after a whole shootout. Y'all, do y'all hear this? This is the elders out there. This happened in Detroit, honey. I guess we shouldn't be surprised. But check this out.
Police originally said that the 4 people that were shot Monday night at the Sheraton Plaza Senior Citizen Apartments on Jefferson was due to a loud barbecue, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah, 6 years. I know everybody. I know what's going on.
Reginald knows a lot, and he was at the shooting Monday night. So what was the reason for the shooting?
Love triangle. He said he's going to kill him, and that's what he said he's going to do.
These are 60 and 7-year-old people.
Yeah.
According to many residents, Reginald and the daughter of the love focus, the shooter was upset that Johnny, a 65-year-old woman, was dating a new man in a wheelchair and in his 70s. Monday night, the shooter, in his early 70s, took a gun and shot Johnny's new boyfriend and 2 others. And when the shooter was tackled to the ground, he dropped the gun, which was picked up by Johnny, who then shot the shooter in self-defense.
You didn't go to that barbecue, did you? No, I don't mess around.
Reginald, is this up in here?
Right here.
But I wanted to see where the shooting took place. So Reginald took me to the back of the apartment complex where the barbecue was supposed to have taken place. Guys, are you guys that rowdy?
No, it's grown folks over here. This senior citizens.
Yeah.
All right, this is where we supposed to retire.
Yeah.
We supposed to have a good time.
Yeah.
Drink our daiquiris.
So in total, 4 people were shot. All are in stable condition as of Tuesday. You afraid to go to these barbecues?
Yeah.
But that's not all.
Yes, sir.
Are there other love triangles in this place?
Well, it's a whole lot of things going on over there. Whole lot of things. I'm surprised it's the first time y'all came, right?
Detroit police originally said that the 4 people that were shot Monday night at the Sheraton Plaza Senior Citizen Apartments on Jefferson was due to a...
Y'all heard that? That's a darn shame. Out there fighting, having a whole love triangle at their ages, honey. And then one of the men was in a wheelchair and the other one shot him and then dropped the gun and the man picked it up and shot him back. I'm telling you, you cannot make this stuff up, okay? I absolutely cannot. Imagine being in your 70s and the men are still fighting over you. I am so done. Okay, I am so done. Okay, so now I do have one more video. You all remember the video that I told you all about the Texas Roadhouse incident? So I'm going to play this video by this guy that I follow called We Are Human. I always like his commentary. So I'm just going to play his thoughts on it. And for those of you who missed it, that was the incident where the woman found staples in the bread at the restaurant. There were some people, some Karens and Kens, trying to say that they made it all up just to get a free meal. But the lady didn't even take the $70 certificate they offered her. So it wasn't about them trying to run a scam.
Roadhouse deserve exactly what this young lady is about to do to him, and I hope they gotta pay her a bag.
She went to Texas Roadhouse with her family. Her little sister ended up biting into some food that ended up having staples inside of it. So she called a waiter, waitress over, whichever one. They come over, they see the staples. They like, look, sorry about this. We're going to comp your meal in full. Y'all won't have to pay for anything. So then another manager comes out and says, no, we're not going to comp your entire meal. We're only going to comp the meal that has the staples in it. Horrible manager decision right there. So they like, well, dang, y'all ain't even gonna comp the meal or whatnot and everything. So therefore, when they leave, Texas Roadhouse ended up trying to reach out to her and offering her a $70 gift card. No, it's too late. Y'all should have comped that entire meal, and I'll take them all the way through, because you never know if that young lady suffers some type of internal injuries for those staples or anything like that. Staples have some type of materials in them that if they're cooked inside of that food and such like that, it could be inside of that food. So it doesn't matter if she swallowed a staple or not. It was cooked inside of it. So if it's cooked inside of it, that means that everything that staple is made out of is now a part of that food and that bread. So she might end up getting sick. That little girl might end up getting sick. So rightfully so, they took her to the hospital to have her checked out and everything. Texas Roadhouse don't like that at all, because y'all know they are business, and business hate when customers end up having the issues and they end up having to go to the hospital, because that means now y'all got to pay for them bills no matter what, because they wouldn't have needed to go to the hospital at all had there not been no staples inside of the food. That's going to cost you more than $70. That's going to cost you more than comping that meal that night. That was a horrible decision by that manager, and it was on that manager's shift right there. So therefore, you're responsible for everything that happens to a customer that comes into that establishment while you're the manager of the restaurant. And then had the nerve to try to tell her they don't even have staples inside of their restaurant. So she did the right thing. She took pictures of where they seen staples at inside of that restaurant. Y'all lying, and she documented everything. I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter if you think that things are going to work out or not. Document everything, because you never know when you're going to need all of that information. And she did the right thing by documenting everything. And she doing the right thing. She went down to the police station. She making all kind of reports and everything like that. She got the health inspection department or whatnot involved in everything to go up there and do inspections, because there's no way ever somebody should receive some type of food with staples inside of it and have the nerve not to comp that goddamn meal. Texas Roadhouse, y'all crazy, boy. I won't be going to none of y'all establishments nowhere until y'all get this young lady together.
All right, so yeah, so he said, and I did hear this too yesterday, that they lied and said they didn't even have staples in the restaurant. And then the girl went around and took pictures of everywhere she saw staples. So they were lying. It's interesting to me that people tried to imply that the black folk were lying, okay, and said, oh, that's not even the same bread that was on the table and all this stuff, when in fact the restaurant owners or the manager lied and said they didn't have staples in the building when they did. Okay. And in fact, most buildings likely have staples somewhere lying about. All right. So with that all being said, Andrew said, Queen, St. Louis Black community poised in 1953. Lily said, why didn't they cover the bill like they should have? Well, there's no telling why they didn't do it. I mean, it was just very unprofessional, nasty, and rude. Okay, they shouldn't have made those people pay for anything. And in fact, if I were the manager, I would have just, just erased their whole bill, because first of all, that would have been the right thing to do. But second of all, because at the end of the day, do you want that story everywhere? I would have tried to appease them. So this story just dies down. Now it's all over the internet. It's gone viral and everybody knows about it. Now they're looking real stupid. Okay. Was it really worth it? Obviously not. That manager should be fired for the mishandling of the entire situation. They probably have been. Okay. So anyway, with that all been said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you tune in later around 6:30 for the next broadcast for the day. I love you all to life. Okay, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Hey, yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. All in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me?